There are new video games every day. Whether it's indie games or AAA titles, there are endless new video games that surface on a daily basis. In fact, releases have become more and more frequent in recent years. In 2021, the number of PlayStation game releases was 980, up 33% compared to 742 in 2020. On Xbox, there were 725 new releases, up 45% compared to 500 in 2020. And almost 1,700 games launched on Nintendo platforms in 2021, which is up 63% compared to about 1,000 titles released in 2020. Nearly 5 games on average launched every single day on the Switch alone. That's only regarding consoles, a market that has made it normal to see games from the same series come out with new installments annually. That is why it's even more impressive in the present day to see games that just cease to go away in the best way possible. Titles that have been released 5, 10, 15 years ago that still hold on to strong player bases and followings, to the point that it has become nearly unfathomable for the developers to muster the effort or find the need to make a true sequel. These games have cracked the code to transcend past the viral aspect of video games and into the realm of cultural impact and genre-defining presence. And on top of all of those things, the greatest benefit of longevity in video games is revenue. You can find many of the longest reigning games on the market at the top of the record books regarding the highest grossing releases in gaming history. So, how do they do it? What is so special about certain games that allows them to grasp upon immortality? What is the formula to having active player bases last full decades and beyond? How will the industry forever be impacted by these diamond titles? Well, I have 3 games in particular that I believe best cover all of these questions. Let's talk about it. Alright, real quick before the video gets started, I just want to give a big shout out to our sponsor today. I'm just playing, we don't have a sponsor, but I'm doing a giveaway. As you know, we are very, very close to 1,000 subscribers, and to show a small token of my gratitude, I'm giving away this $20 eShop gift card for the Nintendo Switch and otherwise. And to do so, hit the link in the description, sign up. It starts now. As soon as the video went up, it is live, and it ends on April 6th. So, if you want to win a free $20 gift card for the Switch and otherwise, check out the link in the description, and let's get the video started. Thank you. I think that there is no better mainstream example of successful longevity in modern gaming than Minecraft. The now and forever iconic sandbox title was made public roughly 13 years ago in May of 2009, fully releasing over 2 years after in November of 2011. What would follow would become one of the pivotal developments in gaming, shifting how indie titles are viewed and broadening how large the magnifying glass from the industry would be on indie releases from that point on. Minecraft would go on to sell a mind-numbing 238 million units, becoming the highest-selling game ever by a significant margin. And there are a multitude of reasons why. For the sake of the video, I've categorized it down to what I call the 5 A's of Minecraft's astronomical success and longevity: anotherness, availability, association, accessibility, and additions. First is anotherness, a synonym of uniqueness. When Minecraft arrived on the scene, there weren't any mainstream or familiar games like it. With unmistakably pixelated graphics and a 3D sandbox concept that allowed full freedom by the player to pace and discover the game in their own way, players were drawn in by Minecraft's intriguing and unconventional approach. Both the mining and crafting aspects of the gameplay were also simply an uncommon instance in popular games at the turn of the 2010s, and had broke into a refreshing change of pace for many dedicated gamers. The next one is a big one: availability. Minecraft is available for PC, of course, but also on every single major console that has been active within the last decade. From Xbox 360 all the way to the PlayStation 5, Minecraft has been one of the best sellers on each system, and this allows everyone to not be limited by the console they chose from playing the game. Even on mobile, Minecraft Pocket Edition is a staple of each of the separate app stores. This obviously helps sales in itself, but it benefits the profits even further, as most players like myself will tend to double or triple or even quadruple dip, buying Minecraft over and over for each apparatus that can play games, creating a gaming space where you literally cannot avoid Minecraft if you are invested in the medium as a whole. As for association, the Minecraft community has been arguably the largest following in gaming for the last 8 years at a minimum. I'm well versed in YouTube gaming content, as it was primarily what I watched daily in my upbringing, and I can safely say Minecraft content and content creators have ran the gaming section of the platform, from mod showcases to the hardcore scene, just to regular let's plays, etc. Minecraft's freedom, simplicity, and grounds of creativity has allowed it to keep churning out entertaining content for years upon years. Even today, go on the gaming tab and it's clear that Minecraft still runs the category on that site. Outside of YouTube, on platforms like Reddit and otherwise, Minecraft maintains the largest active fan bases on respective websites. In terms of accessibility, Minecraft has retained so many players in part because of how easy it is to pick up. Most gamers investing in the media can tell you the first thing to do in Minecraft, even if they've never played it or played it infrequently. The game allows you to discover and learn at the rate that suits you best as a player, and the learning curve is almost entirely up to the player themselves. Once you grasp the surface progression of the game, discovery and advancements in the game quickens exponentially. And that's just for the standard survival mode of the game. For creative mode, all that is thrown out the window and the game becomes a new art form, where thousands of players over the years have created some stunning and jaw-dropping pieces using nothing but their precious time and colorful blocks in game. And lastly, additions. Obviously, for a game that's been around for 13 years, there has to be new content in game and surrounding content outside to keep the fan base involved, and Mojang has done a great job in doing so at a respectable rate. Of course, the community has done an incredible job creating content for themselves, but especially recently, it feels as if both the base game and the franchise are expanding significantly. In the last 5 years alone, the Java edition of Minecraft has seen 8 major updates that have added significant additions to familiar assets of the game, like bees, netherite, frogs, etc. The surrounding franchise has grown as well, with many spin-offs in recent years like story mode and dungeons. Although that doesn't maintain to the base game itself, for an indie series that only has one mainline title, it echoes how massive Minecraft is within itself. Quite frankly, just explaining Minecraft in context to video game longevity doesn't do it justice for its sheer reach and impact that is achieved as a singular game. But that being said, Minecraft has hit a perfect 10 on every cylinder that is needed for a game to last in this industry. And no matter what your stance is on everything that constantly besieges the game, you have to commend the fact that Minecraft has justified its reasons for not only being the most successful game we've ever seen in our lifetimes, but also one of the longest to stick around. Then there's Mario Kart 8, a game that I gave a video all to itself on the aspects of its long-term success and how its future will be impacted by it. So, with that in mind, I recommend watching that video as a complement to this one, as I'll try not to reiterate too many of my reasonings and logic. Link in the description. That being said, Mario Kart 8 is a fascinating case in this topic, especially amongst the 3 games I've chosen to highlight today, because Minecraft was a startup that blew to unfathomable heights in reach and impact, and GTA 5, which we'll get to shortly, was a blockbuster sequel in a beloved wildcard series that would surface ever so often. But Mario has been Nintendo's cash cow and one of the most synonymous characters in video games since the industry was saved from the grave over 35 years ago. So, the success and longevity of one of his many flagship titles should come as no surprise, right? Well, there are layers here. Mario Kart as a franchise has eclipsed both the Nintendo niche and the gaming niche as a whole from as far back as Mario Kart 64. Nintendo's bread and butter, their whole identity, is family-friendly fun with great casual multiplayer replayability. Mario Kart as a series has carried that concept throughout all of Nintendo's consoles since the Super Nintendo. However, as Nintendo's dominance on the market nearly fizzled out after the turn of the millennium, there was much in question. Luckily, the Wii flipped the market on its head and re-established Nintendo for the following years. But their follow-up effort in the Wii U completely spoiled all of its work its predecessor had done reclaiming sales against competitors. The Wii U, despite its shortcomings, had numerous classic Nintendo first-party titles. Amongst others, their most successful outing that console generation was Mario Kart 8, which launched a little over 8 years ago in 2014. During its original run, Mario Kart 8 would go on to sell around 9 million units, the best-selling game for the Wii U. As great as the title best-selling game on a system is, Mario Kart 8 would be nothing but the most successful loser, as having a game that had failed to even crack 10 million in sales be the best your system had to show epitomized how large of a failure the Wii U was. Most developers would just take their L and move on to the next, and when the Nintendo Switch was raring to go in 2017, it wasn't a reach to envision a Mario Kart 9 among other games to grace the system in its debut year. However, Nintendo had a game plan that would benefit all of the work that had gone unseen on the Wii U, as well as allow their comeback effort to come out firing out the gate. They decided to port most of their Wii U highlights to the Switch, and multiple games took advantage of it and had solid upticks in sales. But the one that would benefit the most was without a doubt Mario Kart 8, or as it was reintroduced as Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. On the Switch, MK8 doubled its sales and player base. Only then did the 3-year-old game get a second life and a new trajectory that would eventually make it the 7th best-selling video game of all time. With its renewal, Nintendo extended the lifespan of a great game that was likely to naturally burn out after 4 or 5 years before moving on to the next installment. And because of that genius decision, combined with the factors that made Mario Kart 8 a standout installment in the series by itself, Nintendo now has the leverage to introduce past-styled DLC to the game nearly a decade after its initial release to further extend longevity, a position that they would not have if not for the game's ability to retain a player base throughout the turmoil between the lows of the Wii U and the highs of the Switch. Sometimes a game can simply reach a new peak and break through to that level of transcension if they are given a second shot at its legacy. And of course, we can't talk about video game longevity without bringing up Grand Theft Auto 5. The ever-beloved Grand Theft Auto series had a humble beginning all the way back in 1997 from a developer studio called DMA Design on PC, PS1, and the Game Boy Color, oddly enough, where it looked like this. Fast forward a few years, and Grand Theft Auto 3 would appear, showing great advancements made by the devs now known as Rockstar North, who turned their action-adventure concept into a full-blown cinematic and open-world experience that refused to pull any punches regarding the depictions of violence and sex. Regardless, the series took the right strides at the right time, as in 2001, the PS2 as well as the Xbox were blowing up the market and shifting the market completely out of the hands of older stalwarts like Nintendo and Sega. And on the front lines of the PS2's library as it would rise to becoming the best-selling console of all time was GTA 3. It would be the best-selling game of 2001, and if Rockstar played their cards right, the GTA series could make a remarkable run that would cement itself in history. So, how did the next games do? Grand Theft Auto Vice City would follow up in 2002, based in the Miami-inspired city of the same name. Vice City would become a hit, selling over 17.5 million copies and winning many of the highest honors that year. 2 years after, in 2004, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas would arrive and become synonymous with gaming in the mid-2000s. The game introduced gameplay elements that would become standard in later games, including RPG-style mechanics, customization, minigames, and the addition of gambling. The reception from both the critics and the fans for San Andreas was astronomical, with many considering it to be one of the greatest of all time, and the sales backed that sentiment, selling over 27.5 million units throughout its runs. is safely placed in the top 30 bestsellers in gaming. A tough act to follow, but nonetheless, when the latest generations of consoles surfaced in 2008, so did GTA 4 in the New York City-inspired setting of Liberty City. Once again, the series would see more critical acclaim, and that would bring Grand Theft Auto into a space where most series would plateau within their concept. What Rockstar would do is release Grand Theft Auto 5 in correlation with the 8th generation. Being an extremely immersive, unfiltered, and simply massive game in nature, as console advancements continued to further and further, it became more and more of an undertaking to make a GTA title. After releasing mainline titles every 1 to 2 years, it was about a 5-year hiatus between the Liberty City and Los Santos campaigns. GTA 5 is absolutely the largest game in the series, and all that effort would have to pay off financially for the series to continue maintaining steam at this daunting pace. To no real surprise, it did, selling over 11 million copies in just the first 24 hours. 3 days after launch, the game's revenue would reach $1 billion, the fastest to reach that mark in history. But the critical acclaim, initial financial success, and large fanbase is only the key to the series' rise to the front of the industry, not the longevity of GTA 5. The answer to that is found in the other side of GTA 5's coin, GTA Online. Developed and launched in tangent with the game's single-player story mode, GTA Online was conceptualized as its own experience in a continuously updated environment. Once it got past its initial bugs and issues, it became praised for the game's scope and open-ended gameplay. For nearly a decade now, the game receives frequent updates and expansions that further add to the game modes and content, which in hand has further extended the lifespan and the interest in the game. The resulting impact has grossed 160 million units sold across all platforms, the second best-selling video game in the history of the media. With that in mind, it's also important to note that the pushback by the fanbase to move on from GTA 5 has been much louder compared to any directed at Minecraft or Nintendo. This is due in part to the game's realistic art style and graphics aging more and more as time grows, an issue stylized games like Minecraft and Mario Kart don't really have to stress, with another part being Rockstar's seemingly determined stance to continue to lean into GTA 5 at every new turning point where it would seem otherwise normal to finally advance the series. Personally, aside from the financial security that GTA 5 still retains almost a decade later, I think that Grand Theft Auto 6 is taking such a long time to make because it's inevitably an insane undertaking to make a GTA game that significantly expands and evolves from the already larger-than-life GTA 5. So to put it simply, Rockstar has been stalling and stringing out as much revenue and content that they can get from the 2013 classic. And due to GTA Online's vast and sustained player base and interest, there really isn't any motivation to rush and put out what will likely be a landmark game in itself. All in all, those were some of the most prominent titles in gaming in regards to impressive longevity in the industry. And to answer my questions at the beginning of this video, I believe that what is so special about these games, what gives them the secret formula to last longer than your average title, is a combination of love from the developers and intelligent effort from the publishers. By themselves, games like Minecraft, GTA 5, and Mario Kart 8 are fantastic pieces of media that shine brighter amongst their similars, whether that is amongst the other games in their respective series or just their genre in general. The game simply has to be great to deserve as much love and popularity as it gets. We simply don't see too many games surface that are as polished as Mario Kart 8, as engulfing as a GTA 5, or as defining as a Minecraft on the regular. However, it's as a publisher, recognizing what you have on your hands as something special and making the most out of it that makes the difference. It's giving a game like Mario Kart 8 a second chance to shine on the Switch. It's getting the most out of years of labor in a game like Grand Theft Auto Online. It's taking advantage of a game's hold on the entire gaming sphere like Minecraft that allows a single release to stay at the top of the food chain for over a decade plus. And sure, Many of the financial practices or motives behind many of the choices that are made to extend these games' lives are questionable. That's undeniable. But at the end of the day, the games continue to last because we continue to pay for them and play them. Video games are an art form. They are a medium in which to escape from reality. But before anything else, to many people, they're a business. So while it may not be the most feel-good answer, the reason why video game longevity occurs is simply dollars in and dollars out. But when you see how some of these titles impact a person's life, go on to define their entire childhoods, their relationship with some friends and family, you can't help but to have some awe in acknowledging how a game can make a lasting impression. Not just on us as the consumer, but on the market as a whole. Thank you for watching.